So exercise number 2, you can actually bend your knee. So I find this is the exercise that I think most people, when they step onto the pads, they go into this pattern, which is actually not a bad exercise. You're still stepping into a lunge. So you can have them start by having them start with the foot pads ahead. Measure how big of a step they can take if you want to take the maximal step length test first, and then having them step and then come back. You can also have a variation having them do an ankle strategy into a stepping strategy. So this is more an equilibrium strategy when I start discussing this with clients. So you can have them shift and then step. So I'm shifting, unweighting those back clickers and then taking that step. Then they can go a little bit bigger, unweight, step, and then see if they can get right onto that foot pad and come back. So step and then come back, step and come back. I find actually a lot of clients can step, right? They get this stepping part, but to be able to push back into the next starting alignment is a little bit more difficult for some clients. So you can do it starting here, make sure they're successful, measure how far they can take a step, then go into the maximal step and come back, especially if they have to go over something. That would be a little bit more of a progression. One thing when someone gets stuck, what other cues can you give them? So sometimes I tell clients, I really look at their center of mass control, where their head is. For their feet, sometimes I tell them to smush that bug and push away, right? So think about how you're cueing that movement. So another thing to think about is the head position, okay? So if they're leading here, right, that's gonna be a little bit harder versus my head and my trunk vertical, all right? So you can shift here, and then come back. You can add the arms if you want, arms out if you want to do this exercise. That's another way that you can work on it. Again, to progress this exercise, you can increase the distance, adding lots of cognitive exercises on the top to be able to change which leg, how many times. I'll explain that and have different fun options for you. But the basic exercise is into the stepping strategy and then coming back.